I'm still waiting on these parts from Ortman's, but apparently they've been on holidays. Matt didn't even tell me. Anyway, that stuff should be on its way. That's Michael's part, that. That's our old thing. And these bits and pieces here have just been sitting here. I did look into, I was thinking about this. And I'm thinking, why would I not clean that out? It's like a crucial part of the fuel system. So I went back and looked at some old videos, and sure enough, that thing it was cleaned out. I did clean it out. So for some reason that I've used that silicone and glued the old gasket back in there, and yeah, not the right thing to do. I've got to own that. I still don't remember doing it, actually. If it wasn't for that video, I would never remember it. Anyway, if these clowns don't send this bloody gasket soon, I'm just going to make one. I'm getting sick of waiting for it. Anyway, just thought I'd own up to that. It's just, like I said, I still don't remember doing it, but I definitely did that. Well, here's the stuff I've been waiting for on. It's actually been here for about a week now, I suppose, but I've been doing another car. And I've just got that sold, so looks like I'm going back on this. Still got that stuff sitting here of Michael's, the new rotor button, the new cap. That's Michael's. Yeah, I'm still sort of thinking of converting it to an alternator. That's what I want to do. So we'll see what happens. There's the new gasket there. That didn't come in the kit. I don't know why. They gave me most of the other stuff. They gave me 2 of those. I think for some reason I might even have more of them, but I've ordered 2 new ones. What it was that I didn't replace was the gasket that goes on the bottom of the carby to the other manifold. They're similar to that. They're the ones that I've never replaced. They're still over there like that. I just didn't pull that apart. I just didn't like the look of it. If I sort of, something might have broke, I can't remember. For some reason I didn't change that. It didn't come in the kit, so I left it. So what I want to do is just put this back together. I'm just trying to get something done on this car. It's just been sitting here for about 6 weeks. I haven't done anything to it. I've been busy doing other stuff. Plus I've been crook. You can probably tell by my voice. I'm still crook. I've been crook for 2 weeks. Well, I'll try and video this. I just put this thing on, tightened it all up, and I didn't like the way this nut here, bolt tightened up. It was just not right. So I've drilled it and tapped it. I'm going to chuck one of these things in it. I could use a bigger bolt, but this will work. Actually, we'll adjust that. Hang on a sec. Well, I've just adjusted the height of that. I'll chuck that in there. Like, it's got to sit down. It can't be, it's got to be below the surface, otherwise it's not going to seal. You wind these things in, but you can't wind them out, so make sure it goes down far enough. That's it, they're a prick to get out. Get that out. Anyway, I'm going to have to turn this off for a second. I got that out. Basically, you've got to back that thing back off because it holds it in tight. So I've just had to undo that screw and push that down. I actually did mount that in the vise, give it a tap with a rubber mallet, but it's out. I'm thinking it's pretty good. I might just give that a light block, but it is below the surface, but I just want to make sure. I'll just do that quickly. Well, there's that sorted. All the bolts are done. These two I haven't torqued up properly. They're tight, but not torqued to spec, but everything else is. Because that, I'm pretty sure from memory I had to take that off to get undo the cable rather than feed it back out through the dash, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, I'll just flick them 2 bolts off when the time comes and put the cable on, put it back on, torque them up. That piece is ready to go. It's turned out pretty, there's nothing wrong with it. It may not have been anything wrong with it before, but I'm glad I got rid of all that stupid silicone I put in there. I still don't know why I did that, but I suppose you get that on the small jobs. Anyway, on to the next thing. I'm going to go over and inspect the carbies, and I'm going to decide whether I'm going to pull them off now. Well, here we are. I haven't even looked at this for maybe 6 weeks. I don't know. It's been sitting here under the cover. I'm contemplating taking these 2 carbies off and just giving this carbie a good inspection. Like, I'm almost 100% positive there's nothing wrong with it. But, you know, if I'm going to have to pull it apart, now's the time to have a look at it, rather than put it all together and then take it all back apart. These old cars, you can only do bolts and nuts up so many times before they stuff up. So what I think I'll probably do is, well, I'm thinking whether I'm going to do that, is put this ignition back on. I'll put the new Desi cover, new rotor button, get all this back on, get it ready. And by then I'll think about what I'm going to do. But I'm going to start it up without the radiator in it, I'm pretty sure. It'll probably make a big mess everywhere. But yeah, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with this bloody generator. Just a bloody headache. I've really honestly got a feeling now that there was nothing wrong with that generator. Anyway, it's a bit late for that now. I'm just looking at this cap I got off Michael. I don't think I will use it. That's actually got a crack in it there. It probably doesn't come up on the camera, but there's actually a little crack. Yeah, you can see it. See that crack? I won't be using that. It's no better than the one I've got. It's maybe worse. But the rotor button I'll definitely use, because this one's worn down a bit. I'll throw that rotor button on, throw this back together, and I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. I'll probably put Michael's generator on and give it a start. Bloody coolant's going to go everywhere unless I can block those holes up somehow. Anyway, I'll figure that out when the time comes. But yeah, I really do want to put an alternator on this thing. I'm not sure what's involved. So we'll see. All right, back onto this. So I'm going to put our wiring on this. So basically what I'll do, take this off, take the wiring off. I'm going to take that pulley off. I'm going to clean that up. And I'll put it on the car. And, you know, if it all works, great. If Michael wants to sell it to me, I'll buy it. But if not, I'll give it back to him clean. That's basically what I'm going to do. Well, it's pretty grubby. I've got the pulley off. I've got the front, the back of it, whatever, that cover thing, the wiring. It's been painted and it just looks a bit grubby. So I'm going to make it look, see how long it takes me to turn that. I've just noticed this brush here, the cloth inso on it's gone, and it's also gone down there. So that's shorting out onto this. I can't leave that like that. I'm gonna have to do something about that because there's no way that'll work like that. I had the same problem with this one, so I pulled that off, undid that, and put shrink wrap there. I actually changed the whole wire and shrink wrap it. I'll see. I might pull that one out and put it in here. I'll see what they look like. I'm annoyed I didn't buy new brushes. We waited all that time, we didn't even get them. Because I was planning on getting an alternator, but I'm going to try this first. And make it look like that. At least it's clean looking. That's ours, that's ours. This back section's ours. That bit's ours. I've just used this the centre bit that's still Michael's, so you know, if we end up, if it works and everything's cool, we'll buy it. But you know, I'm still haven't decided about putting the radiator in because I don't want to keep putting it in and out. I just see if I can block it up somehow to start it. Well, I've taken these old gaskets off. These are the ones I've made. They seem to be working fine, but you never know. But so we've bought these. They never come in the kit. That other big gasket I just showed you didn't come in the kit. And the gasket that I was getting mixed up, the gasket we didn't change is this bottom one here. they're new on this side of that. I think I've got spare ones of those for some reason. But yeah, I never changed these bottom ones because they just look fine. Everything else has been changed. Now I'm going to put these new ones on, and there's an O-ring goes in each thing here. I've decided not to pull them carbies off because I can't see how there can be anything wrong with them. I've gone right through them. So I'm going to put it back together and just see if I can get this pressure right. I might even go back to trying some gravity at a higher height. One of the guys suggested to do that, and I've had 2 people tell me that they've had the exact same issue with their car. Brendan was one of them, one of the guys that helped me get some of these chrome parts, and he's told me what to do. I just can't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and look at the comment thing that he left. Something about disconnecting the power to the fuel pump. You know, that other fuel pump could even be working, I don't know. It just wasn't getting the proper power. Now it seems to be getting, at least getting more power to the front at the moment anyway. Anyway, enough of that. Like I said, I'm not taking this off. I'm going to put this crap together, and then I'll figure out if I'm going to throw the radiator back in it. I don't really want to, but I don't want to do any of it. So we'll see what happens. These bloody gaskets don't fit. They do not fit. But there's supposed to be a slot here. There's supposed to be a slot there. You got a tiny hole. There's supposed to be a bigger hole here for that to go around that. Like, what the hell? What am I going to do with this rubbish? I'm going to have a think about this because this stuff doesn't line up. And realistically, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I'll see what I can think about here. It's very annoying, this sort of thing. Like, what I'm thinking may have been the problem is these brass sections here, they sit out. They're not flush. So, and the way they've made these holes, they're way too small. That should go around those brass sections, so it gives it a bit of a, so it'll sit in flush. And there's slots here when they've only got holes, like they're supposed to be slots, as far as I'm concerned. But either way, that's not going to seal. When I put this, the whatever that part's called, the bolts to that, that's got to go down over around that, and if that doesn't fit over it, it's going to suck air. This could be a reason why it's not been working. So, like, it sounds easy just making those holes bigger, but I've got to get them in the right spot, otherwise I don't even see why I should do that. They should be the right size. Like, I didn't make them. I'll see what I can do, but that's got to be exactly right. Otherwise, that'll suck air, and if it sucks air there, that can stop that firing. I'm thinking that may be what's caused it. I'm hoping so. Anyway, if I can sort it out. I've hooked all this stuff up. That's ready to go. It should work. According to Michael, it should work. So I'm going off what he says at this stage. I'd rather leave a generator on it if I don't have to change it. Why should I? But I've just got to get this sealing correctly here. I feel that may have been something to do with the problem, unless I just reuse my gaskets, but like that sits out like they're not all the same. Anyway, I'll just see what I can come up with. Anyway, I've put this back on, but I've just got a feeling after looking through this, these 4 carbies and that plate that they bolt to, this plate's pretty flat, and they've got to sit up flush. If there's any leaking, it can cause an issue. So I've got a feeling that could be what's going on, but we'll see. See what happens. I'll leave that over there, I suppose. I might even undo that and put it under there. But for now, it's staying like that. yeah, that's maybe something was to do with it, but I didn't like the look of them gaskets. I just put them on. I just couldn't see where to cut the holes without stuffing it up. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, next thing, I'll probably will put the radiator in, but I've got to be super careful. I don't want to damage it on this. That's why I put a bit of cardboard in there when I pulled it out, but yeah, the least times I put that in and out, the better. Got this thing all back together. All I've got to do is put the battery on and give it a try. I'm not going to do that right now. I just don't feel like trying it. I'm going to try it tomorrow. I really can't see anything different except for it had that glue in the silicone in the fuel rail, which was my fault. But if I start this now and I can't get it to run right, I'll try what Brendan said and what David suggested with the gravity. If I'm still not having any luck there, I will pull that carby there off, pull those two carbs off, because I feel that those brass, the only thing I can see different are those brass inserts, the thread that hold this fuel rail setup thing on. They're closer to flush on these two, even that third one, but the fourth one, it sticks out a lot. Is that a problem? Is that part of it? I don't know. But I don't think it's the ignition. But who knows? Like I said, I've had two people tell me they've had the identical problem with their car. And just for some reason, these cars, they're just a bit pig-headed. Anyway, for right now, I'm just going to cover this thing over. All right, I've just been trying to fire this thing over, and it doesn't want fire. The only thing I've changed is this, so I'm going to take this back off and have another look at it and make sure everything looks right. I didn't like the look of them gaskets, but I did decide to put them on because it should mark where I need to make those holes bigger. It seems to me this fuel rail thing, this plate, fuel plate, rail, it has to sit into those grooves properly, otherwise it's not going to be right. The only thing I changed is those gaskets, so, and this. That's not going to do it. I've got spark. Just bloody annoying. All right, I'll pull this back off and have another look at it and go from there. All right, I've undone that stuff obviously. This is all undone. The fuel, it's got fuel here, I know that. Just didn't seem to be, I don't know. It is odd, like, sure, everyone goes fuel, spark, compression. Who doesn't know that? Everybody knows that. This car's got all three. It's got awesome compression, it's getting fuel, and it's got spark, and it still won't fire. It won't fire on all, at the moment it won't even start, but I'm just going to check these O-rings, and I'm going to check these gaskets that I've put in there, and because I put that together, it should mark where I need to cut make those holes larger. This has to sit exactly into a spot, in those brass inserts for the thread. They've got to sit into these holes. If it's a little bit off, it's going to be sucking air. And you can move it. It's got a bit of play. So I've got to make sure that's correct. So I'm going to pull this back off and double check those gaskets. That's the only thing I've changed. It used to start straight away. Like, I've got why isn't it starting? Also, I've put this here because they may drop those O-rings, and they're a special O-ring. They're not just a normal O-ring you can go down and buy at the shop. I can't buy them here easily in Australia anyway. I may have to get more from Germany if I lose one of them. You can see how that's cut in. That's basically what I wanted it to do. But I want to get rid of that excess bit of gasket here, there, and there. And this one's not as bad because these brass things don't stick out as far. This fourth carby is the worst. And what I'll also do is change the way these face. Like they have a rounded edge and a flat edge. I put the flat edge into the carby. I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to put a rounded edge into the carby. I don't know if it'll make any difference. I can't remember how I had it last time. I think it was the way I just had it, but I'm going to change that too. I've carefully gone around. I don't have a hole punch that size, unfortunately, so I've gone around with the smaller one and just trimmed each thing. I've done this one as well. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them into position. I might have to do that one a little bit better. I might need a little bit more work that, but I'm going to glue those into position so they're right where I want them. Like having a little bit there is not going to matter, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to glue them in only on one side. I'm going to use this stuff here, and that's it. I'm going to do that, but I may or may not take these carbies off. I'm thinking I probably will. I'm going to drop the fuel bowls and just check them, make sure they look clean. And if there's any shit in them, I'll have to pull them apart and re-clean them. They might have a little jet block somewhere. It's just bloody annoying. Like, it's not firing on, and it's still not firing on these #1 cylinder. At some stage it wasn't firing. It was only running on the back two. So if something's blocked, it's just not going to start. Yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, I'll just drop the bowls, the float bowls, and just check it. I'll just drop the first bowl out. That feels filthy. Like, why is it that colour? That's bloody weird. That's odd. The fuel tank's been cleaned, and it's got that stuff lining it. It shouldn't be that. It's got all the pipes, the lines are new. But why is the fuel that way? That's why it's not starting. That fuel, something's wrong with it. Oh, at least I found out why it's not starting. And that's the fourth carby. Every single carby, the fuel's dirty. I don't know. The fuel looks like it's gone off, but it hasn't been in there that long. There's no way fuel goes off that quick. Like, what is going on? Anyway, at least I found something that's wrong with it. Them carbies are coming off. I'm going to pull this line off here and pump some fuel out of the tank and see how it looks. I'm hoping that's clean. But it still doesn't explain to me why the fuel has gone from clean to that ugly looking brown colour. That's why it's not starting. The fuel's dirty. Oh, pain in the neck. But yeah, I'm going to pull that line off there and shove another thing on it. Shove another bit of hose, and I'm just going to start pumping fuel and see what colour that looks. The only thing I can think of is that stuff that I've painted on the inside of the tank has gone off. Like, why? That's what it's for. It's special stuff. It costs a lot of money. And it's impossible to get it off. Okay, we'll see what the fuel looks like coming out of the tank. Turn this on. Turn that off. That looks clean to me. Yeah, that's nice and clean. That's a good sign. So for some reason the fuel in the carbies has gone off. I'm thinking it's that silicon. That silicon must have done it, because that was reacting with the fuel. It has to be that. That's spotless. That fuel's spotless. That's a good sign. That makes me really happy. I don't have to worry about freaking around with the bloody fuel. Yeah, that fuel's spotless. Absolutely spotless. That's what I wanted. So at least I'm finding something that's wrong with this bloody car. Carbies are coming off. We're getting fully re-cleaned. I'll make sure the fuel's clean through that line. It must have been the silicon that's made that fuel go off in the carbies. It has to be. And that could be something to do with why it's not running correctly. So thank God I don't have to get another fuel tank. I'd say this fuel here is clean right to here. It's just gotten contaminated as from sitting with that silicon. That was a big fail. That was totally my fault. So what I'm going to do, I'll make a video to show you guys what's happening. I have been working on this car. I've finished off some stuff on the inside. I'll show you that later. And I've started working on a roll bar, but I'm probably going to scrap that. I'm going to make another one. I've got some 3-inch stuff there. I'm I'm not going to make it out 3 inches, too big. I'll get some 50 mil. That's 2 inch. And yeah, I've glued these in position where I wanted them and retrimmed these, carefully retrimmed these things here. Like in some places it's really close to the edge, like that one. You don't want that. That's why I had to do it really carefully. So that'll be glued there. You know, that sort of locks into place. It's got to lock in. They're a certain size and they go over those brass things. But man, I'm so glad that bloody fuel's not dirty coming from the tank. Like I said, it has to be because of the silicone. Yep. Anyway, I can get these carbies off. That you can get in there. It's tricky, but you can do it. So they're coming off, cleaned. Anyway, I'm going to make a video. I'll show you guys. I'm sorry I haven't put a video for a while, but I've been flat out doing other stuff. Anyway, at least I found something. Anyway, like I said, I'll knock up this into a video. I hope it's not too boring. But I'm not a videographer. I'm not nothing like that. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Anyway, thanks guys.